connecting our lives to help us survive. So we live our time to the fullest we can.
Hi, welcome to Professional Insights, created by Dementia Action Alliance. I'm proud to be your host, Laurie Scherrer. During our Professional Insights podcast, we have educational conversations with professionals in the dementia community to provide answers and support to people living with dementia and their care partners. My guest today is Nicole Craven. Nicole is a board-certified music therapist. She is the executive director and founder of Sing, Explore, Create, LLC. That's a Massachusetts-based therapy, private practice, and creative arts wellness center, and it's celebrating its 10th anniversary this July. Nicole leads a team of music therapists who are dedicated to providing engaging music therapy services that help each person meet their individual goals and live a fulfilled and meaningful life. Nicole, welcome, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Laurie. I'm excited to be here.
Well, Nicole, my first question is, what is music therapy? I mean, I know what music is, and I know what therapy is. I had plenty on my shoulder, but what's music therapy?
Yeah, it's a great question and is one that we get all the time as music therapists. So we know that, that music is so therapeutic. And quite often when we tell people that we are a team of music therapists here, everyone will say, oh, that's wonderful. I use music as my therapy all the time. Well, there's actually an entire profession that uses music to help people meet their goals. So music therapy, kind of in a nutshell, is the use of music to focus on non-musical goals. So as music therapists, we're using all of our knowledge around how the brain influences the mind and body to create a positive change and to create growth in our clients that we're working with. We know that that human beings have been using music since the beginning of mankind to improve their social and emotional and mental health and well-being. It also has been used since, again, the beginning of time by many cultures to improve health and wellness, including, in music and medicine. And so in the United States, we have a profession of music therapy, which is a group of board certified music therapists who have all completed a bachelor's level degree or higher in music therapy. And during that time, we really study both the kind of the history of how music has been used to invoke change and positive growth in humans. And we look at a lot of neuroscience and how music affects the brain. And then we compile that all together to really maximize the benefits of music making and music listening to then address the social emotional health of the clients we're working with. We may be working on speech and communication. We may be working on improving motor movements. We may be working on maintaining or improving cognitive functioning. And there's many different ways that we can do that. So music therapists will often employ singing and active music making on instruments, listening, songwriting, lots of different types of activities that we know are going to be able to help to improve different areas of need by our clients. So for example, we may be playing the piano with a client to not just to give them a leisurely skill, but also to help improve their fine motor skills, because they're having to touch all those notes helps improve their fine motor skills. That's just one small example. Music therapists work with many different populations. So we do in our practice here, we work with children and adults with different disabilities. We work with children to provide mental health support. And then we also work with adults living with dementia, Alzheimer's, and other just senior wellness programs that we provide.
How can music therapy help people living with dementia?
Yeah, there's so many ways that we can utilize music, and not just by working with the music therapist, but there's many ways that individuals can employ music to just improve their quality of life, and uh, just to help combat maybe some of the side effects, or the daily barriers that one might face if they're living with dementia or have a loved one living with dementia. And so, some of the interventions that we employ when working with individuals with dementia are singing. We know that singing helps to decrease a lot of stress hormones, but it also, more importantly, it increases all of those feel-good hormones like oxytocin. And singing can help to regulate breathing and regulate our blood pressure. And so there's so many benefits, and that's not specific to people living with dementia. That's just a real true benefit for anybody. But we also know that singing can help to activate memories in the brain. And so we know that singing and active music making really lights up so many parts of the brain that it becomes really beneficial, particularly to people living with dementia. We also do a lot of dancing, movement, exercises, because we know that rhythm is very motivating and helps our brain to regulate our movements and our motions. If we think about our body, it's all made up of rhythm. Our heartbeat, walking, running, our breathing patterns. Our whole body relies on rhythm to keep moving forward and being in existence. And so when we are using music to help us exercise, is the reason we do that. You go to a gym, you want to have that music going because it's helping your brain to entrain to that music and to keep your body moving. And so it's wonderful to use for exercise. When we're dancing and moving together, it's also really great to help us stay in sync and regulate our bodies with a partner or with a family member. Group dancing or dancing with another person can be a really wonderful way to just regulate your body. And that, again, is beneficial to anybody, but particularly to people living with dementia and even in later stages of dementia, because it can be really regulating to be moving together in that rhythm.
And I would imagine many of us have challenges with balance issues, tremors, and tying in everything you're saying. I would imagine that rhythm and that movement would also help us with tremors and balance.
Absolutely. There's many music therapists, particularly neurologic music therapists, work with many Parkinson's patients and other adults who maybe have had some kind of motor impairments. We can use music to do what we call gait training. Your gait simply is just how you walk, how you step, how you move through the world. And yes, as we get older, or as, if we have dementia, as that progresses, it can affect movements and that fluidity. And so playing music and having a steady beat helps us to be able to have more fluid movements, because it's actually a process. Our brain, and we don't want to even think too hard about it, because our brain is going to do that. It's a precognitive process. Our brain doesn't have to think about, or we don't have to actively be thinking, okay, this is the beat, I need to find the beat. Our body and our minds are just going to do it for us. So yes, it's wonderful for that.
So how do I find a music therapist? I mean, do you just Google music therapist? Will they pop up under that?
They will, and that's usually my number one recommendation, particularly if I'm talking with an audience that is across the nation like yours. There are music therapists practicing in every state. And so Googling music therapy can be a great start, and you'll probably find someone. There's many private practices around, or other places that employ music therapists. Another great resource is to find your local council on aging or senior center. And quite often they will bring in music therapists to provide some kind of weekly programming. And if they're not, talk to them about it and tell them, did you know that all the benefits of music therapy? And maybe they can find someone in the area to start providing services there to the community. And then there is the American Music Therapy Association, musictherapy.org, which will come up in your Google search. I believe that they do have a list of active music therapists that you could find someone. And then, of course, there's my team right here in Rockland. So we're in Massachusetts, but we do provide virtual services. And depending on what state you're in, some states we wouldn't be able to provide services virtually because of different rules and regulations. But certainly reach out and we provide virtual services and in-person services. But it's always great to find someone in your own community. So there's lots of ways to access music therapy.
Wow. Well, Nicole, thank you so much for this information. And I'm in Alabama, so I'm going to have to check into that and see if I have someone around.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Really appreciate your time and all the information and what you do to help other people living with dementia as well.
Thank you so much, Laurie.
And I'd also like to thank all of you, our viewers, for joining DAA for our podcast. If you like this podcast, please visit our website at daanow.org to view other podcasts and find valuable resources and find ways to connect with other people living with dementia through our virtual discussion groups and our engagement programs. Dementia Action Alliance is committed to enhancing the lives, connecting people, and increasing understanding. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
We live our life to the fullest. We can